I am Midge Ure, and you're listening to Mystery Tour Radio Show.
Here we are. So, dear Midge, what shall the Italian audience expect tonight from this intimate version of Midge Ure?
I think it's a good cross section of music that I've done over the last 30 odd years. So quite a bit of Ultravox. There's a bit of Visage thrown in there. Some solo stuff, both old and new, and maybe a couple of songs that I didn't write, just a few cover versions that I enjoy playing. So it's a very different type of performance. It's all to do with, is the song strong enough, and can you still sing it? That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. There's nothing to hide behind.
Yeah, I was talking about this with TV Smith from the Adverts, who is playing this acoustic solo gigs, and it can be very punk rock too. It can be very energetic. And
If you think about it, it's the most honest way of performing, isn't it? It's because if you're not feeling particularly great, or you're tired or whatever, it comes out in your performance. Yeah. With a band, you can hide that. With a band, the noise, the sound, the other musicians around you can kind of boost you. When it's you on your own, you have to be ready to do that. So.
Yeah, and like this year, 30 years have coming on from the gift, and what has changed in Midge Ure on and off stage since 1985?
I think music grows. I think the ideas grow. I don't think you could look at what you do now and go back 30 years and make a positive link. I mean, I've a very distinct songwriting style and a very distinct voice, and those elements you can still hear. But some of the songs that we wrote back with Ultravox, you look back at them now and you think, what was I thinking? I'm not the same person.
It wasn't me.
Yeah, well, I'm quite happy going, yes, it was me, but you think differently. You see things in a different light. So things move and evolve and change. And of course, through the 30 years, I've experimented a bit with different forms of music. So back in the 80s, the electronics and synthesizers and drum machines were the new creative tools, and of course I still use those. But on the way, I've worked with folk musicians, classical musicians. I've worked with lots of different areas of music.
And are you planning something in the studio, like next year maybe?
I've got to. My last album, Fragile, my last solo album, which I released last year. Yeah. There was 12 years between my previous album and this album, and that's just ridiculously long. And it was 12 years because I kind of I thought I didn't want to do this anymore. I don't like the way the music industry has gone, where it's all about TV reality TV shows and karaoke singers, and inventing the next Beyonce. That's what it's all about. And in doing so, nobody's looking for the next Jimi Hendrix or the next Led Zeppelin or whatever. So it took me a 12-year period to go through all of that and then decide that just make music. That's what you're good at. Make music. So I made the album. So yes, next year I've already got some ideas put aside, and next year I've left some space where I can get into the studio to start recording.
Next year is also the 20th anniversary of Breathe. I guess. Are you celebrating in some way? Did this album and song change your life in some way?
Well, it did. When Breathe was released 20 years ago, it very quickly became the worst selling record I'd ever made, ever. And it stayed that way for 2 years, until a company in Milan someone who loved the record, took the title track to Swatch, the watch company, and of course with using the Swatch using the song "Breathe" on the TV commercial, it became huge, which in a way is a very odd way for someone to find your music, but quite a good way for someone to find your music, because they don't look at who you are, they don't know your background, they don't know your history. All they hear, all the audience hear, is a little piece of music on a TV commercial, and they felt moved enough to find out what it was. So that changed everything for me. I mean, it was great from what it's like when you make a piece of music and you release it. You want people to hear it. Well, no one was hearing this piece of music, so for it to be discovered via TV commercial was just ridiculous. But great, because when people did hear it, they went crazy, and it was lovely.
And did you find in your career any, differences between the American audience and the European audience and press and stuff?
Back in 1979, 1980, when I just joined Ultravox at first, when we toured America, the Americans didn't get us. They didn't understand Ultravox. They didn't understand the synthesizers and the instrumentals and this kind of very European sounding music. Initially, they didn't get it. The guys who got it were the guys who were making dance music, house music in Chicago. So it was the black American audience who got Fade to Grey, who got Dancing with Tears, who heard these sounds and thought, shit, we have to use this noise. How do we make that bass drum sound? How do we make that synth sound like that? And it was those guys who latched onto what we were doing. These extremely white European guys making this music that inspired the Afro-American guys to go take it and turn it into house music. But the people you would think would be interested in the music weren't. It took them a long time to get it. Radio didn't understand it. College radio did. College radio got it. But it was definitely two different things. Europe was doing their thing, and America was still doing old corporate rock. And it took a long time for America to catch up.
Yeah, and were you playing Italy also back then with Ultravox?
Yeah, we toured Italy a lot. We came over many times, and it was great. We loved it. There used to be a really odd thing that only ever happened in Italy, where you'd turn up at the venue, and all the people with tickets all came into the concert, and you'd walk on stage, and you'd see that the venue was only half full, and we couldn't understand this. And then, by your third song, the doors were opened, and everyone without tickets all came in because
in 1 minute.
Because at the time it was a really odd thing. It was like a communist government at the time, and the people without tickets would riot and destroy cars and do whatever if they didn't get let into the concert. so we're thinking, I don't understand it. We're playing this great big place, but if there's only maybe 1,500 people who want to come and see us, why are we playing this place this size? And of course, it was full. It was just full of people. Just it was amazing.
And what do you think about London and Britain nowadays? The music scene. Are you into it?
It's still there. The music, people who create music are still creating music. They will find a way to do it. The thing that's changed is the tool that enables you to get your music to an audience. So the days of being signed by a record label kind of finished. It's not really going to happen anymore. The investment that record labels used to put into new artists doesn't really happen anymore. That's why this talent TV shows have taken over, because what they're doing is they're finding basic kids who can sing, good raw talent, They don't care if they can write songs. They don't care if they're musicians. They're just singers who look good. Then they get the audience to vote for them on the TV show. Then they sell the same audience the music that they make. And you think, well, it's going nowhere. It's like a dog chasing its tail. It doesn't go anywhere. It's just a means to an end. But despite that, music is still being made because the technology enables people to make music in their bedrooms now, and the technology enables people to publish their songs, put the songs up on the internet. The hard thing is finding a way to get an audience and your music connected. It's a really difficult thing. I would hate to be in a new artist now. Yeah. I think it's a really difficult thing for people to do.
Yeah, actually. And one final greeting message to the Italian fans of Midge Ure. What would you say, to young musicians and fans?
Well, to any young musicians, I mean, the key to music is to write, and when you're tired writing, write some more, and when you're tired of that, write some more, because it's all about the quality of the song. And being back in Italy has just been an absolute joy. I've come back this time playing very, very small clubs, and I would rather do that than not come back at all. So for the last nearly 20 years, I lost connection with the promoters and the agents in Italy. So I've made a concerted effort to come back out and perform. I love Italy. It's great. I would live here tomorrow. I'm a Scottish Italian. There we go.